I didn't announce it. I didn't raise my voice or make a speech. I just said one word I had almost never said to my children. No. It happened at my kitchen table. My son was explaining numbers the way people do when they assume the outcome is already decided. Just for a few months, he said, tapping his phone. Until things stabilize. My daughter nodded. You know we'd do the same for you. I looked at my hands, old hands that had signed checks for decades. I can't this time, I said quietly. The silence that followed wasn't surprise. It was a sense. You can, my son replied automatically. You just don't want to. There it was. Not concern, not worry. Expectation. For years, I had helped without being asked. Rent deposits, car repairs, school fees, business loans that never came back. I told myself it was love. I told myself this was what mothers did. But that morning, something inside me had finally grown tired. Not broke, tired. I need to think about myself now, I said. My daughter laughed once. Not kindly. Since when? She asked. They left soon after. Not angry. Cold. That was worse. By evening, the messages started. I can't believe you. After everything we've been through, you're really choosing money over family? Money? As if it had ever been about money. The next day, my daughter canceled our weekly lunch. Busy, she said. My son stopped answering calls. My grandchildren stopped coming over. Love, it turned out, had a receipt. I sat alone in my living room and felt something new settle in my chest. Not guilt. Understanding. I had mistaken dependence for closeness. And now that I had stopped being useful, they were showing me exactly who I had always been to them. That night, I opened my old ledger. Years of numbers stared back at me. Dates, amounts, names, my generosity written in ink. I ran my finger down the page and whispered, I see it now. Because when you stop being convenient, you don't lose people. You lose illusions. And I had just lost all of mine. The silence didn't arrive all at once. It settled. First, my daughter stopped replying with words. Then she stopped replying at all. My son answered once, days later, with a single line. I don't have time for this. As if I were a task he could postpone. The real cruelty came quietly. Birthdays passed without calls. Photos of family dinners appeared online. Tables full, chairs filled, my place gone. My grandchildren waved at me through screens. Coached voices saying, "Hi, Grandma," before being pulled away. I wasn't cut off. I was phased out. One afternoon, my daughter showed up unannounced. Not to visit, to collect. She walked straight to the closet and opened the box where I kept the silverware my mother had given me. I need these, she said. They'll look better in our house. I stared at her. You didn't ask, I said. She shrugged. You don't really use them anymore. Anymore, that word again. When I said no, her face changed. Not angry, annoyed. You're being difficult on purpose, she said. You're punishing us. I almost laughed. Punishment implies intent. This was protection. My son called that night, not to ask how I was, to warn me. You're pushing people away, he said. Don't be surprised if this ends badly. Ends. They loved that word when they thought they controlled it. The next week, they asked again for money. Indirectly, through hints, through complaints, through stories meant to soften me. I said no each time, calmly, consistently. That's when the tone shifted. You've changed, my daughter said. You're selfish, my son added. Dad would be ashamed, someone whispered. That one landed. They knew where to aim. I cried that night, not because I doubted myself, because I finally understood the cost of all the years I had said yes. The following morning, I did something new. I stopped explaining. I went to the bank and asked for statements, all of them. I went home and spread them across the table. The numbers told a story my heart had been avoiding. I wasn't a mother to them. I was a solution. And solutions are only appreciated until they stop working. That afternoon, I made a list. Not of what they had taken, of what I still had. My name, my mind, my choices. Enough. Because when people show you their true face, the only real mistake is pretending you didn't see it. It happened on a Tuesday. Ordinary days are where betrayals feel safest. I was at the pharmacy when my card was declined. I laughed at first, embarrassed, assuming it was a mistake. "Try again," I said. The cashier did. Declined. I stepped aside and checked my phone. A notification from the bank sat unread. "Changes have been made to your account." My stomach tightened. At home, I logged in. My savings had been moved into a joint management account, authorized by my son, using a power of attorney I didn't remember signing. Because I hadn't. I sat very still. Shock is loud when you panic. I chose quiet instead. I called my son, straight to voicemail. I called my daughter. She answered on the third ring. "Oh," she said when I told her. "We were going to explain." Explain. Another word people use to soften theft. "You were making poor decisions," she continued. "We had to step in." "By stealing?" I asked calmly. She scoffed. "Don't be dramatic. It's still family money." Family money. Money only becomes family once it's no longer yours. That night, they came together, not to apologize, to justify. They spoke to me like a committee addressing a liability. "You're not thinking clearly. You're emotional. This is for your own good." They had rehearsed this. I could tell. When I asked for my money back, my son smiled. "We'll manage it responsibly," he said. "You should be grateful for being robbed by the people I raised." After they left, I sat alone in the dark, and for the first time, I felt something sharper than pain. Resolve. I called a lawyer the next morning, not a family friend, someone who didn't know my children's names. She listened without interrupting. Then she said, "This isn't misunderstanding. This is exploitation." Hearing it named gave it shape, and shape can be fought. We worked quietly, account by account, document by document. I said nothing to my children. Silence makes people reckless. They assumed I was afraid. They assumed wrong. Because when kindness teaches people they can take without consequence, the lesson has to be corrected. And corrections are never comfortable. I didn't confront them. That was the hardest part, and the most effective. I thanked my son for helping. I told my daughter I felt relieved not to worry about finances anymore. I even laughed when my son said, "See, this is better for everyone." Better for everyone. People relax when they think they've solved you. They grew generous with advice. "You shouldn't drive so much. You don't need that subscription. We'll handle the bills." Each sentence tightened the net they thought they were weaving around me. I nodded. I agreed. I complied. Meanwhile, the lawyer worked. Quietly, quickly, precisely. She reversed what could be reversed, flagged what couldn't, documented everything. Dates, authorizations, patterns. "Let them keep talking," she said. "They're building your case for you." My children started spending more openly. A new phone for my daughter. A weekend trip my son suddenly deserved. Small luxuries charged to the account they said was for my protection. Protection is expensive when it's dishonest. They invited me to fewer things. No need now that I was settled. I watched my grandchildren on social media instead. Smiling faces, gifts I had indirectly paid for. I didn't comment. I saved screenshots. One afternoon, my daughter came over with papers. "Just sign these," she said. "Routine stuff." I smiled and asked for time. She rolled her eyes. "You're overthinking again." I signed nothing. That night, I moved my important documents to a safe deposit box under my name alone. The next morning, I changed my emergency contact. Small steps. Invisible steps. When my son asked if I needed anything, I said, "No, you've handled it." He grinned. That grin told me everything. Because people who think they're in control stop checking the locks. They stop watching the exits. They stop imagining consequences. I wasn't planning revenge. I was restoring balance. And balance requires one thing above all else: patience. The legal process didn't begin with a confrontation. It began with letters, quiet ones. My lawyer sent requests that looked harmless. Routine verifications, confirmations of authority, standard compliance checks. The kind people ignore when they think everything is already theirs. My children ignored them. That was the mistake. They were busy enjoying the comfort they thought they'd secured. My son upgraded his car. My daughter booked a vacation she called well-deserved. They spoke about money with the ease of people who no longer fear running out. They forgot to be careful. One afternoon, my daughter called irritated. "The bank keeps asking questions," she said. "Did you say something?" "No," I replied softly. "Why would I?" She paused. "They're saying the authorization needs revalidation." "That sounds important," I said. She sighed. "It's just bureaucracy." Bureaucracy is what accountability looks like from the outside. That same week, the lawyer uncovered the detail that mattered most. The power of attorney they used had been altered, subtly, illegally, one signature added, one clause expanded. Not enough to fool scrutiny, enough to cause real trouble. "Do you want to proceed?" my lawyer asked. I didn't answer right away. I thought about the years I'd paid quietly, the birthdays without calls. The card declined at the pharmacy. "Yes," I said. "Proceed." The notices went out, formal, unavoidable. My children received them on the same day. I know because my phone rang all afternoon. I didn't answer. They showed up at my door that evening, both of them, faces pale, voices controlled but cracking at the edges. "You did this," my son said. I looked at him calmly. "I stopped you," I replied. My daughter tried anger. "You're destroying this family." I shook my head. "No," I said. "I'm ending the part where I was convenient." They tried pleading next. "We'll give it back," my daughter said quickly. "All of it. We were just trying to help." I met her eyes. "You already showed me how you help," I said. When they left, they weren't furious. They were afraid. That was new. The next morning, the bank froze the account pending review. The credit cards stopped working. The trips were canceled. Reality arrived all at once. I made tea and sat by the window. For the first time in weeks, my hands didn't shake. Because when people mistake kindness for weakness, they forget one thing. Kindness has limits, and once crossed, it doesn't argue. It acts. The investigation didn't feel dramatic. That surprised me. No sirens, no raised voices, just emails, appointments, and careful questions asked by people who already knew where to look. The bank requested statements. A lawyer requested explanations. And suddenly, my children were no longer speaking for me. They were speaking about themselves, separately. My son called first, quiet, controlled, careful. "They're asking about dates," he said. "Who signed what? Why?" "Answer them honestly," I replied. He exhaled sharply. "You know it wasn't that simple." "It was," I said. "You took what wasn't yours." My daughter called an hour later, angry this time. "He's blaming me," she snapped, saying it was my idea. I didn't interrupt. People tell the truth fastest when they think you're on their side. By the end of the week, they weren't coordinating anymore. They were protecting themselves. That's when families fracture, not from outside pressure, but from inside fear. The investigator asked to meet me, in person. He was younger than my children, polite, direct. "Did you authorize the transfer of funds?" he asked. "No," I replied. "Did you benefit from it?" "No." "Did you object once you discovered it?" "Yes." He nodded and wrote something down. That was it. No drama. Just facts finding their place. When I got home, there was a note taped to my door. From my daughter. "Please, we can fix this." I peeled it off slowly and folded it into my pocket. Fixing comes before stealing, not after. The next letter came certified mail, an official notice. A case had moved forward. My children were advised to seek independent counsel. Independent. That word stung them more than anything else. They tried one last time to unite. A group message. "We need to talk as a family." I didn't reply. Families talk before lines are crossed, not after. That evening, I walked around my neighborhood, the same streets I'd walked for years. But this time, I felt taller, straighter, not because I had won, because I was no longer shrinking to keep the peace. I realized something then. Revenge isn't shouting. It isn't cruelty. It's letting consequences arrive without stepping in front of them. And consequences were already on their way. The outcome didn't arrive with a bang. It arrived with mail, certified letters, appointment notices, requests for clarification that no amount of explanation could smooth over. My children started missing work, canceling plans, living inside a fear they had never planned for. My son stopped calling me Mom. He used my name. Distance does that. It turns intimacy into formality when people are ashamed. They're treating this like a crime, he said during one tense call. That's because it is, I replied gently. My daughter tried another approach. She showed up crying. Real tears this time, not the sharp, manipulative ones, the exhausted kind. I didn't think it would go this far, she whispered. I looked at her and felt something unexpected. Not satisfaction, clarity. You thought it would stop at me, I said. It never does. The bank reversed what could be reversed. Accounts were restored, losses documented. But the record remained. Once something goes on record, it doesn't care how sorry you are. Neighbors began to notice. Whispers at the grocery store. Questions wrapped in politeness. My children felt exposed. I felt free. The investigator called one final time. The case will proceed, he said. You may be asked to provide a statement. I will, I replied, and I meant it. That night, I sat alone and asked myself a question I had avoided for months. What kind of mother am I now? Not the one who fixes everything. Not the one who shields them from consequence. Not the one who confuses love with sacrifice. A different one. The next morning, I wrote a letter. Not to the authorities, to my children. Short, clear. I won't interfere with the process. I won't lie for you. And I won't abandon myself again to save you. I didn't wait for a reply. Because motherhood doesn't end when children grow up. It changes. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is stop making it easier for them to be cruel. The resolution came quietly. That was fitting. There was no courtroom drama, no shouting, no last-minute confessions that changed everything. Just documents finalized, accounts settled, and findings recorded in language that left no room for interpretation. Unauthorized use, breach of fiduciary duty, financial exploitation, words with weight, words that don't disappear. My children were given options, repayment plans, restrictions, mandatory oversight, not prison, not ruin, something worse for people like them. Limits. My daughter stopped posting online. My son changed jobs. Their world narrowed in ways they had never prepared for. They learned that reputation, once questioned, never fully resets. I was asked more than once if I wanted to press further, if I wanted harsher consequences, if I wanted to teach them a lesson. I thought about it carefully. No, I said. They've learned enough. That surprised them. It surprised me too. Because revenge isn't about destruction. It's about reclaiming balance. And balance had already returned to me. I closed accounts they had touched. I simplified my finances. I set up a small trust, not for my children, but for myself. Medical care, travel, security, peace, planned properly. The house felt different now, quieter, lighter. I rearranged furniture, gave away things I had kept out of habit, created space where guilt used to sit. One evening, my daughter texted, "I don't know how to talk to you anymore." I read it twice, then replied, "You can start by listening." She didn't respond, but she didn't block me either. That was something. My son sent nothing. Silence can be an apology when pride gets in the way. I realized then that some relationships don't end. They transform into something smaller, something cautious, something honest. I sat at my table that night and wrote a list, not of grievances, of boundaries, what I would no longer tolerate, what I would no longer fund, what I would no longer confuse with love. I pinned it inside a drawer, for myself, because once you stop being convenient, you don't become cruel. You become clear. And clarity is irreversible. Reconciliation arrived the way it always does, carefully. My daughter asked to meet, not at my house, at a cafe halfway between our lives. Neutral ground. She arrived early, hands folded, phone face down. No tears this time, no anger, just restraint. I don't expect things to be the same, she said before I could speak. I just don't want us to be strangers. I studied her face. The same eyes I used to read bedtime stories to. Older now, more guarded. Forgiveness isn't a reset, I said. It's a boundary. She nodded slowly. I know, she said. I think. She told me she was in therapy, that she was learning words like entitlement and control and enmeshment, words she used carefully, like tools she wasn't sure how to hold yet. I listened. Listening didn't cost me anything anymore. I thought helping you manage money was responsibility, she said. I didn't see when it turned into ownership. That's the danger, I replied. It turns quietly. My son didn't come. He sent a message later. I'm not ready. I respected that. Readiness can't be demanded. Over the next weeks, we spoke occasionally. Short conversations. No money, no favors, no expectations, just weather, work, ordinary things. I felt no urge to fill silences. Silence wasn't my enemy anymore. One afternoon, my daughter asked the question I had been waiting for. Can you forgive us? I took my time answering. I can forgive, I said, but I won't forget when it cost me to learn. She nodded. That was enough. Forgiveness, I learned, isn't softness. It's precision. It says, this far and no further. I updated my will that month, not out of anger, out of honesty. Clear instructions, clear limits. My children were included, not financially, with letters. Words they could read when they were ready to hear them. That night I slept deeply, not because everything was fixed, because nothing was hidden. I realized then that I no longer needed to be needed. I wanted to be respected. And respect doesn't arrive with apologies. It arrives when patterns stop. I didn't rebuild my life dramatically. I rebuilt it deliberately. I changed my mornings first. No more checking my phone before breakfast. No more bracing myself for requests disguised as concern. Just quiet, sunlight, and coffee that stayed warm. Peace is practical. I set rules. Simple ones. I don't lend money. I don't justify my choices. I don't apologize for protecting myself. Anyone who wants access to me now understands the cost of entry. My children remained in my life, but differently. Shorter visits, clear boundaries, no financial dependence, love without leverage. It took time for them to adjust. It took courage for me not to backslide. I traveled, not to escape, to remind myself the world was larger than the roles I had been trapped in. I met people who didn't know my history. They knew my laugh, my opinions, my pace. That was enough. Sometimes, late at night, guilt tried to return. It always does. But guilt had lost its authority. I had replaced it with evidence. Evidence of who my children became when I stopped helping. Evidence of who I became when I stopped explaining. I didn't regret the investigation. I didn't regret the boundaries. I didn't regret choosing myself. The only regret I had was waiting so long. I used to think being a good mother meant sacrifice without limit. Now I know better. It means teaching accountability, even when the lesson is uncomfortable. I still help people, just not people who mistake help for entitlement. I volunteer, I donate, I listen, I choose. When people ask what changed, I tell them the truth. I stopped being convenient. They usually nod, some look uncomfortable. That's fine, because the moment I stopped helping without respect, I started living without fear.